Every day, people go missing. Sometimes we know exactly what happened, but some disappearances remain unsolved for years, even decades. Families are left with questions, endless hope and pain. And then, out of nowhere, some people return. Their stories are shocking, heartbreaking, and sometimes inspiring. These are 10 unbelievable cases of people who vanished and suddenly came back. Number 1. Stephen Stainer. In 1972, 7-year-old Stephen Stainer was abducted on his way home from school in California. The kidnapper posed as a social worker and manipulated Stephen into believing his parents no longer wanted him. For 7 long years, he was given a new name, a false life, and raised as the abductor's own son. But when the man tried to kidnap another boy, Stephen couldn't let it happen again. He bravely helped the younger child escape and led him to the police, effectively saving both their lives. Stephen was hailed as a hero, but life after rescue was far from easy. He struggled to reconnect with his family and process the trauma of losing his childhood. His story was later adapted into a TV miniseries. Tragically, at just 24, Stephen died in a motorcycle accident. Still, his bravery lives on as a symbol of hope and courage. Number 2. Natasha Kampusch. At age 10, Natasha was kidnapped in Vienna, Austria, while walking to school. Her abductor, Wolfgang Przyklopil, kept her in a tiny, windowless cellar beneath his house for 8 years. She endured physical and psychological abuse, rarely saw sunlight, and was completely isolated from the outside world. But Natasha never gave up. She educated herself using books and radio and focused on keeping her mind active. At 18, she seized a moment of opportunity and escaped. Shortly after, her captor took his own life. Her escape shocked the world. Natasha later published a memoir detailing her experience and became a speaker on trauma and survival. Her story is not just one of escape, but of resilience. Number 3. Edgar Latulip. In 1986, 21-year-old Edgar Latulip disappeared from a group home in Ontario, Canada. He suffered from developmental and mental health challenges, and many feared the worst. Unbeknownst to anyone, he suffered a head injury shortly after vanishing, one that caused severe memory loss. He assumed a new identity and began a new life, unaware of who he truly was. Over 30 years passed. Then, in 2016, Edgar began having fragmented memories and flashbacks. With the help of a social worker, he searched his name online and made a chilling discovery. He was a long missing person. DNA confirmed his identity, and he was finally reunited with his long-lost family. It's one of the rare instances where someone solved their own disappearance through sheer will. Number 4. Jamie Kloss. In 2018, tragedy struck a quiet home in Barron, Wisconsin. A man named Jake Patterson broke in, murdered Jamie's parents, and kidnapped her. She was just 13 years old. For 88 harrowing days, she was held captive in a remote cabin. Her abductor isolated her completely. Blacked out windows, tight surveillance, and constant threats. But Jamie remained calm, observant, and patient. One day, Patterson left the house for errands. Jamie took her chance. She escaped the cabin, walked through the woods barefoot, and approached a woman walking her dog. That moment changed everything. Jamie's courage inspired millions, and her story became a global headline. She later received national honors for her bravery and strength. Number 5. Brenda Heist. In 2002, Brenda Heist kissed her children goodbye before school and then vanished. Her car was found abandoned. Investigators suspected foul play. Years passed, and she was declared legally dead. But behind the scenes, Brenda had made a shocking decision. Overwhelmed by divorce and stress, she spontaneously left town with a group of strangers she met at a park. She hitchhiked to Florida, where she lived homeless for 11 years, sleeping in tents, doing odd jobs, using fake names. In 2013, she turned herself into authorities. Her family, especially her now grown children, were stunned and confused. Brenda said she felt like a failure and couldn't face her life anymore. Her story sparked debates on mental health, responsibility, and the human breaking point. Number 6. Sean Hornbeck. At 11 years old, Sean Hornbeck disappeared while riding his bike in rural Missouri. His kidnapper, Michael Devlin, kept him captive for over 4 years. What makes his case even more chilling is that Sean wasn't locked away. He was seen in public often, going to the store, playing video games, and even attending school. Devlin manipulated Sean into silence through fear and control. In 2007, Devlin abducted another boy, Ben Aounby, whose disappearance led to an investigation. Police found both boys alive in Devlin's apartment. The rescue was hailed as miraculous. Sean's case became a study in psychological captivity, showing how trauma can keep someone hidden in plain sight. Number 7. Carlina White. In 1987, newborn Carlina White was stolen from a hospital in New York City by a woman disguised as a nurse. She was raised under a new name by her abductor, who told her she was adopted. As Carlina grew older, she became suspicious. There were no birth certificates or official records. At age 23, she took matters into her own hands. She searched online for missing children and found a photo of an infant that looked eerily familiar. It was her. She contacted the authorities and DNA tests confirmed the unbelievable truth. Carlina reunited with her biological parents, who had searched for her for over 2 decades. Her courage led to the exposure of one of the most shocking infant abduction cases in U.S. history. Number 8. Julian Hernandez. In 2002, 5-year-old Julian Hernandez was taken by his non-custodial father during a custody battle. They vanished completely, leaving no trail. Julian grew up under a false identity, believing his father's story about their life. But when he applied to college at 18, something strange happened. His social security number didn't match any official records. The school counselor helped investigate, and they uncovered the shocking truth. Julian was listed in the National Missing Children database. The reunion with his mother was emotional, but complicated. Julian still loved the father who raised him, despite the deception. His story reveals the emotional complexity of familial abduction and identity. Number 9. Elizabeth Smart. In 2002, Elizabeth Smart was kidnapped from her own bedroom in Salt Lake City. Her abductor, a religious extremist named Brian David Mitchell, and his wife held her in the wilderness. For 9 months, she endured horrific abuse. Covered in veils, she was seen in public, but no one recognized her. Eventually, a passerby who saw her story on America's Most Wanted contacted police. Elizabeth was rescued, and her return made international headlines. She went on to become a public speaker, advocate, and author. Elizabeth turned tragedy into purpose, helping victims find their voice. Number 10. JC Dugard. At age 11, JC was abducted while walking to the school bus in California. Her kidnapper, Philip Garrido, kept her hidden for 18 years in a makeshift tent compound in his backyard. During her captivity, JC gave birth to 2 daughters, both fathered by Garrido. Despite the horror, she survived and raised her children in the only world they knew. Her discovery came in 2009 when university officials became suspicious of Garrido's behavior during a campus visit. DNA confirmed her identity, and the world was stunned. JC published a memoir and created a foundation to help other survivors. Her story is one of unimaginable endurance, and healing. These people endured what most of us can't even imagine, but they came back. Some returned broken, some came back stronger, but all have a story that deserves to be told. Which of these stories moved you the most? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more real-life mysteries and survival stories on the Untold Files.